Now, before we get into this video, obviously this video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not telling you to pirate, I'm not encouraging piracy, but I think piracy in a lot of cases is morally okay, no matter what anybody says. Now, let me go ahead and give some examples of instances where I think piracy is okay, and some instances where I don't think it's okay. If the game isn't sold anymore, I think piracy is okay, because if you were to go out and buy a second-hand copy, it's not benefiting the publishers in any way at all. And you pirating a copy hurts absolutely nobody. In a way, I view pirating games that aren't sold anymore kind of like stealing something from the garbage dump that isn't being produced anymore. It's not hurting anybody. So the developer would be receiving the exact same amount of support whether you get this game secondhand or you pirate it. Now, I know this next one is not really referring to games, but it's anything like Adobe, for example, where they force you to be online, because a lot of the times the pirated product allows you to not have to be online. So I mean, if you're gonna get a superior product for free, why pay for an inferior product? If I want an Adobe product that I can use offline, I can't pay for it and get that. The only way I can get an Adobe product that I can use offline is to pirate, and I'm somebody who doesn't really have the most reliable internet connection, so I mean, do I really want to pay and get an inferior experience? Also, Adobe actually charges you money if you try to cancel your subscription, so if you subscribe to something and you try to cancel your subscription early, they'll actually charge you extra money for that. By the way, I don't even use Adobe anyway because I think it's dog shit. Anyway, moving on. I also think it's morally okay to pirate from people like Ubisoft, who have been exposed before for taking games straight out of people's libraries without really giving them a warning first. I mean, even if they did give a warning, to just take something that people own away from them is extremely scummy, and if you have, like, pirated the game, you'll never have to worry about that. I also think it's morally okay to pirate Nintendo games. Now, personally, I don't, because I can just redump them from my Switch and put them on my PC. But Nintendo tries to make it as hard as possible to redump your own games that you own and play them on your PC. They will ban you from the Switch's garbage online service if you try to redump your own games, or if you have a modded Switch to redump your own games and you go online and they detect that. I mean, seriously, people are going out of their way to get a Nintendo Switch, get like mods and stuff on their Switch so they can redump their game, just so they can do it the morally correct way, and you're still trying to punish them. At that point, why even fucking bother? The final instance where I think it's okay to pirate is if you already own the game. Let's say you own Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube, and you go online and you download a ROM of the game so you can play it on your emulator. I think that's okay, because you already own the game. Now here's where I think it's not okay to pirate. Let's say a movie comes out, like, I don't know dude, a Jurassic Park movie. And you can go down to the shop and buy a physical copy, you can go online and buy a copy, and once you buy it, it's yours, you can do what you want with it. I don't think it's okay to pirate in that instance because it's readily available and you can do what you want with it, so, I mean, you're pirating because you want to be cheap in that instance. I think it's different to pirate because you want to be cheap and to pirate because the developers of whatever you're pirating are restricting what you can do with what you own, like forcing you to be online or something. Now, the reason I gave that 3.5-minute speech is because the Redditor of today's video thinks that piracy is never morally okay, and you're always, like, doing something morally wrong if you pirate, despite all those reasons I just listed out as to why I think it might be morally okay in some instances. Anyway, like I said before, this is just an opinion piece. I am not encouraging you to pirate. You will get in trouble for doing it, and it is illegal. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get straight into the video. Piracy is not morally correct, and it comes from r/true unpopular opinion. I can't believe I have to say this, but piracy is stealing.
Well, no fucking shit!
I mean, yeah, no shit, but I don't always think stealing is wrong. Like stealing from the garbage dump, for example, like I said before, I don't think is wrong since it's shit that's been thrown out and is abandoned. Just like how developers abandon some games and don't sell them anymore. It's abandoned, the developers don't care about it anymore. It's not morally correct. Just because a piece of media is no longer available to the public doesn't mean you're not stealing. You didn't pay for it. This is illegal.
Well, no fucking shit!
Wait, you mean to tell me that stealing isn't legal? Also, how do you expect people to get their hands on it if it isn't sold anymore? Buying secondhand does not benefit the developer, and sometimes when you buy secondhand, you just get straight up scammed with a broken product. It's happened to me multiple times when I was younger, and it was enough for me to say, alright, fuck it, man, I'm not buying secondhand anymore. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and give that story of me getting scammed, because why not? So back when I was a kid, this was back after the 3DS came out, I really wanted this DS game, but it wasn't being sold anymore, so I had to buy secondhand, and what a nightmare that was. So the first time I got the game, my parents bought it for me off eBay from this reseller, right? Like from this person who said they didn't want the game anymore and they were offering to resell it. Paid like 50 bucks for it. And this was for a birthday or a celebration. I think I had really good grades, something like that. And this was a gift for me. And I pop it in my DS and it just doesn't work. A few months later, on a different occasion, I got another copy of the game that my parents ordered me from a different reseller. I pop it in my DS, and they must have swapped the stickers or something because it gave me a stupid motorcycle game instead of the game I wanted. And these were both people on eBay that had good ratings when it comes to the stuff they sold. Like, people gave these guys good ratings, and they sold me broken products. If I would have known about emulation and the fact that I could have sailed the 7 seas to get these games back then, after the first time I got scammed, I would have went ahead and done that. And if you think I would have been in the wrong for doing that after getting scammed, you're a fucking asshole, and you're a fucking moron. Not only are you an asshole and a moron, but you also probably drink glue and eat paste and wear a helmet. Companies don't make their media available because they don't want to. Well, that's tough for them. Maybe if they want people to pay for their games, they should provide a way for people to pay them. This is their choice. Yes, it is their choice to not sell us the game, but when they choose not to sell us the game, a lot of us choose to pirate the game because we don't want to go through the nightmare of trying to buy secondhand, paying extra for it, and getting scammed. It costs money to update games to make them playable on modern systems. It costs money to host old anime on a server. Well, maybe they should make their games backwards compatible then. Like, I don't know, the Xbox has all their games backwards compatible, and you can just go and buy a lot of old Xbox games on the Series X, even digitally. Maybe they should do that. If I can't buy it, it's not stealing. Well, I mean, it is stealing, but once again, it's like stealing from the garbage dump. Who's being hurt? Shut up. So I can't buy the Mona Lisa, so it's not stealing if I break into the Louvre, I think that's how you say it, and take it? This is nowhere near the same, and the fact that you would even compare the two makes me think you have an IQ down in the 70s. I mean, seriously, dude. When you pirate something, you're creating a copy of it. That is different than breaking into a museum and smashing the glass and taking the only Mona Lisa in the world. What you said is so incredibly dumb that it's actually made me angry. Come on, I don't care if people pirate, but let's not pretend it's the moral high ground. Speaking of moral high ground, that's the entire reason you made this post. You're trying to take some, like, holier-than-thou stance, so piracy is never okay, in my opinion. I'm gonna try to be this, like, moral superstar. Like, shut up. People today are so afraid of being a bad person that they lie to each other and themselves to convince themselves they're morally superior. That's literally the entire reason you made this post. You're trying to act like you're morally superior because you think pirating things that aren't sold anymore isn't okay. Piracy doesn't make you a bad person, okay? But it's not a morally good thing to do. Well, it's not a morally good thing to do, but it's also not a morally bad thing to do. There's no morality in this. It's the fact that something isn't sold anymore, so the only way to get it without possibly getting scammed is to go and download it off the internet. People don't understand how media laws work, how video games are licensed to the buyers. Yeah, I can tell just by reading that this is one of those motherfuckers that reads the entire, like, 100-page long thing that they give you at the start of every game that you have to accept, and then calls people idiots who don't read that entire thing. What's that? You're a fucking idiot, bro. You didn't read that 100-page long thing that tells you everything you need to know? That would literally take you all day to read? You're a moron, bro. Dude, he's one of those people, so, I mean, that pretty much tells me everything I need to know, that final statement. Jesus Christ, dude. Holy shit, Reddit is an actual degenerate cesspool. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Peace.